We'll change this so we can do things.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Welcome.
Happy Veterans Day.
Yes.
We're honored.
Yeah, big one today.
To be grateful, of course, for our service members.
Yes.
Past and present.
Awesome.
Thank you for all that you do.
Okay, so today we've got a good one, as always, though.
Always.
But I just love this topic because it debunks a lot of myths, also, but it also gives a lot of new insight. So thank you again for joining us. If you don't already, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. That way you can get all these wonderful trainings and watch recordings and share them and refer back to them. And then you never miss anything. And make sure as we're doing this that you are writing in your comments, because we will take questions at the end. We also just love your comments. If you have a comment, like us. What else?
Yeah, that was all good. Let's do it. Let's go.
Okay, so what if I told you that a simple supplement used by athletes could also boost your memory, focus, and protect your brain as we age?
Yeah, I love it. Pretty
cool and pretty simple, as I said. So today we are going to talk about creatine.
Boom.
We're going to cover the basics of just what is creatine, and we're going to really spend time on the many health benefits of creatine beyond athletic performance. Of course, we're going to talk about athletic performance because it's a major one, but we're going to hit up on all the other benefits which many people don't know of. We're also going to discuss creatine for women because it is really touted as a supplement for males, which is not true. And then we'll kind of do a little bit about our LiveGood Creatine plus HMB.
Love it.
Right?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so let's just talk about what creatine is. It's natural, right? It's a natural compound found in the body, particularly in our muscles and our brain. It is often supplemented to benefit athletic performance, but the research just highlights a lot more benefits, including, like we said, brain health.
Yeah.
One thing about its effectiveness, you want to give those pretty cool stats? How effective is creatine?
Oh, 100%.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, that was an easy one.
Right. I mean, it's not many things you can say are 100% effective.
Well, at doing one particular thing, and that is drawing water into the skeletal muscle cell.
Right.
So that's what I mean by I can tell you definitively that is what will happen.
Right.
Among other things, of course, but it's a well-studied molecule. I mean, over 50 years of studies, or longer.
Right.
Probably the most studied supplement, to be honest. I mean, they started using it in the earliest Olympics before they even had any idea what it would do.
Right.
It's crazy. It's great.
It is pretty cool.
But let's talk about that creatine molecule real quick, guys, though. It is a non-essential, like Lisa mentioned, which means the body will make it. It's a derivative of amino acid. So it's a non-essential amino acid, basically. And we're talking about creatine right now. We will also separately discuss HMB because there's two actual molecules in here. So the cool thing about creatine is that our body will make some of it, but not enough. We must get it from food. And when we don't get enough from food, and there's vegans and vegetarians that can struggle with this, that's when the body can deplete its reserves to bare minimum, basically. And that can create problems. Right. That can create some of the issues. And we'll go into some of those things today. But there's different stages of life. I mean, now the science is supporting there's no contraindication for anybody. Even if you're a dialysis patient with renal impairments, I'm not suggesting you do this without talking to your provider, but you should be supplementing with creatine as early as adolescence through obviously into your elder years. Right.
Yeah. I was going to say too I was, reading a study on the use in adolescents and how how safe and effective it is.
Yeah.
The one thing is as we age, our natural stores of creatine decline. So, children don't have that, but they also don't have the best of diets, to get the nutrients they need. And creatine's very high in meat.
Meat and fish.
Red meat.
Yeah. I'll just say just meat and fish.
Yeah.
Right. Eggs. Yep.
So that's why when Ryan mentioned that vegetarians and vegans might struggle with this, particularly, yes. So even more the reason to supplement.
Yeah, the body needs in its reserve. So here's the cool thing about creatine. Creatine actually it has a reserve in muscle tissue and skeletal muscle tissue. It helps with the energy sort of regeneration. It helps improve the amount of ATP that's available to the cell. And as we age, Lisa says, we start to deplete, we lose some of our creatine.
What's ATP?
ATP is adenosine triphosphate, but it's your energy currency.
Okay.
And so it does a really good job at recycling ATP for the cell. That's why it's so good for brain health, because it's such a high energy demand center. But in our skeletal muscle, where we're trying to build lean muscle mass, we want to maintain lean muscle mass. we have to do work, right? And when we do the work, whether it's lifting weights or exercise or endurance training, things of that nature, your body goes under stress. And of course, when you have the creatine reserve there, it can help you increase your output and thereby increasing, what's that term used when it says muscle growth? Hypertrophy. So it can help grow more muscle, of course.
Okay. So one thing that you said that I like, so the brain is a high energy demand center.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when we think about energy, so we've known like creatine enhances athletic performance because of the availability of ATP, like our energy. But you don't necessarily think of like your brain being a high energy demand center. Like the brain works so hard all the time. It requires so much energy to function at its best. So you can't just think of energy as like our performance, our body's performance, our athletic performance.
Exactly.
So
but when I was talking about that creatine reserve though, so just to illustrate that, so if a normal concentration in tissue and skeletal muscle tissue is like say 100 to 120 millimoles per kilogram, just disregard that for a moment. But when you supplement with creatine, it can go to 160 millimoles per kilogram. That is roughly a 30% increase in your creatine store. That's a really big number.
Right.
And that right there explains a lot of how this works, in the fact that the body will store it, will use it, and it's important to replenish it.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, in a nutshell, we kind of talked about why our brain and why our bodies need creatine, but we know the athletic performance. It helps with muscle growth and strength. It promotes muscle growth by increasing the water content in the muscle cells, right?
Sure.
And then when it goes to the brain function, it helps, and especially in demanding cognitive tasks.
Okay.
But also has protective benefits during aging,
times of stress, right?
Times of stress, neurodegenerative diseases.
Okay.
Which also that's times of stress on the brain.
Which would be like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Yes.
And then now you're calling diabetes type 3 or what was I going to say? Alzheimer's. You're calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. So there's some inflammation, of course, of the vasculature in the brain. So
right.
But it's a lot of people. Sleep distress. And one comment that came in about menopause, hormonal fluctuations can cause.
Sure. Yes. I mean, I have a whole thing, and we'll touch on specifically creatine for women. I mean, but what I'm talking about right now goes for everybody. And Ryan did mention the sleep. So sleep deprivation like really stresses our brain, right? You feel like you go through the day, you're just feeling out of it. You can't get your thoughts together. But there's many studies that say, like, actually, I wrote down the outcome of this one study. These outcomes suggest that a high single dose of creatine can partially reverse metabolic alterations and fatigue-related cognitive deterioration. And this study was on sleep deprivation. So it's a really cool thing because I feel like a lot of us aren't getting enough sleep. I mean, especially, work, stress, children. I know sometimes we have preteens, but we still get interrupted sleep. And, it's just an important thing. And we just don't focus on it as much. We might say, oh, I'm okay with 5 hours, but like you're running on fumes, so the benefits of supplementing with creatine, I mean, great for your brain health. Anti-aging effects, that has a lot to do with what we just said, the increases in muscle mass that can come along with supplementing with creatine, your cognitive function, your physical performance. I mean, it improves your quality of life because of all that, reduces age-related frailty.
So what's there not to love about it?
It's just like, it's crazy when you see all of this, how beneficial it is. But I feel like the biggest thing is, let's go into females. I used to always think creatine was just for men, right? I mean, this is many years ago. I've been using creatine for a very long time. But many people just think it's a supplement for men, especially bodybuilders, because that's where it began, right? But this supplement is so important, as Ryan said earlier, for everybody. And when it comes to women, especially with hormonal fluctuations, hormonal support during menstruation, like, our fluctuating mood, our energy levels. I mean, this is big time. Muscle energy. You know how you feel. I know how you feel. And then the cognitive health benefits that during hormonal changes such as menopause, where the brain fog and the cognitive challenges can be more pronounced. I mean, this is huge. And not to mention, let's also talk about for women, what else happens. And, menopause is our muscle mass significantly declines. Our bone density suffers. This is the most amazing thing for postmenopausal women. Again, the brain, the muscle, the bone, the anti-aging effects. And I do feel like you probably, I'm sure many of you are sitting out there thinking, but creatine makes you gain weight. Okay, creatine does not make you gain weight. Because creatine hydrates the cells, and you said it's 100% effective at doing that, it can increase this water weight feeling, like a small sense of bloating. If this does happen, it's temporary. It's just while your body's getting adjusted to the creatine, right? The cells are getting hydrated. I will personally say I never noticed it, but I do know other people have said that they noticed it, but just give it a couple weeks. It will go away. It's not permanent. There's no study out there that says that water weight gain or that bloating feeling is permanent.
It's self-limiting. It does resolve on its own. If there is water, it follows it via osmosis. That's actually the way it works. And it will limit. It will self-limit and it'll go away, but it'll stabilize. Really, the whole point is that you would continue to hydrate with taking creatine. I want to enforce the importance of consuming water. Even if you get a sense that you're